Thursday night in Abu Dhabi. The desert air was warm but gentle, like a whisper under a city made of glass and gold. The day had been long: conferences, team practices, media interviews, the kind of full-throttle whirlwind that defines the lead up to the EuroLeague Final Four. But as the sun melted behind the skyline, a few of us from the Basket News crew piled into an Uber, expecting a quiet, uneventful ride back to the hotel. Just a ride. That's all it was supposed to be. But the universe has a funny way of turning the ordinary into something unforgettable. As we slid into the car and buckled up, the driver turned around, eyes sharp, smile wide. "Are you Greeks?" he asked. We paused for a second. Not the question we expected. But we nodded. He grinned like someone who had just won a bet. "I had 10 Greek airport pickups today already," he said, chuckling. "Greeks are taking over the city." And just like that, the tone shifted. The Uber became more than transport. It became a confessional, a lounge, a place where strangers became companions for a brief moment on the roads of Abu Dhabi. He reached into the glove compartment and offered us strawberry cookies, not the packaged kind, but warm, crumbly, handmade ones. A taste of local hospitality. A taste of his own story. Because this was more than a ride. It was a window into something deeper. The conversation meandered, as the best ones do. And soon, we were talking basketball. Not by design, but by gravitational pull. Because in this week, in this city, everything bends toward the EuroLeague Final Four. The driver, perhaps not a die-hard fan, still knew the essentials. 4 teams. 2 Greek, 1 Turkish, and 1 rich. He chuckled again. Is Monaco the rich team, right? We laughed too. Not because he was wrong, but because there was a quiet honesty in his words. An understanding not based in stats or standings, but in the subtle truths fans feel even without deep analysis. But then, as the hotel neared, he said something that froze the moment in time. Something simple. Something that stayed with us. He said, "Basketball brings so many people together, even when they don't speak the same language." And in that single sentence, spoken from the driver's seat of a Toyota weaving through Abu Dhabi night traffic, he captured what dozens of press conferences and hours of analysis couldn't. The Final Four isn't just about the players. It's not just about coaches and tactics and rivalries. It's about this, the mosaic of people drawn into the orbit of the game. It's about Greek fans flying halfway across the world to paint a Middle Eastern city blue and white. It's about Turkish supporters singing in the streets. It's about the quiet presence of Monaco, gliding in with class and capital. It's about people from every corner of Europe, and beyond, meeting in elevators, cafes, taxis, and stadiums, connected by nothing except the love of a game. Basketball doesn't need translation. A dunk speaks louder than words. A buzzer beater echoes beyond borders. An alley-oop ignites joy in every language. In that Uber, we weren't journalists and he wasn't just a driver. We were part of something shared. We were passengers in a moment powered not just by horsepower, but by human connection. He didn't need to know rosters or pick-and-roll strategies. He understood the energy, the movement, the pilgrimage. He saw the streets filling with jerseys and accents. He saw strangers becoming friends in the hotel lobbies. He saw eyes light up when they talked about Olympiacos or Fenerbahce or Panathinaikos or Monaco. That's what sport does. It doesn't just entertain. It gathers. It builds temporary nations, where the passport is passion and the anthem is the sound of bouncing basketballs. We stepped out of that Uber feeling something unusual. Not just rested, not just amused, but seen, reminded. Because in the grind of the Final Four week, in the metrics, the matchups, the media scrums, it's easy to forget what brought us here. Not the job, not the assignment, but the feeling that begins when you first pick up a ball. The feeling that builds when you chant with 20,000 others in a packed arena. The feeling that surges when your team hits a shot that should have been impossible. And yes, the feeling you get when a stranger offers you cookies and says, "Basketball brings people together." Abu Dhabi, this jewel in the desert, is more than a host city. It's a mirror, reflecting how wide the game has stretched its arms. The Final Four has always been about the best of Europe. But this year, it's about more. It's about the guy who saved all year for a flight and a ticket. It's about the kid watching from home, dreaming of one day being on that court. It's about a driver in the Emirates who sees jerseys from 3 different countries in a single day and smiles, knowing that something bigger is happening. So yes, Thursday night was just a car ride. But it was also a reminder that beneath the banners and highlights and chants, this game belongs to everyone. And sometimes, you don't need to analyze it. Sometimes, you just need to feel it. In a cookie. In a conversation. In the quiet truth spoken by a man who sees the world through a rearview mirror. Basketball doesn't just cross borders. It erases them.